Let me ask you something real. Have you ever given your all to someone only to be left empty? Ever stayed up late, bent over backwards, poured out your energy, only to realize the person you were helping didn't want help, they just wanted access? See, the truth is, not everybody deserves your help. That might sound cold, but it's real. There are people out there who will drain you, use you, take your kindness, and turn it into their convenience. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse being helpful with being used. We grow up thinking helping everyone is the right thing to do, that being available all the time makes us good, noble, selfless. But wisdom teaches something different. Discernment. Knowing who to help and knowing when to walk away. Because your time, your energy, your peace, that's sacred. And not everyone who asked for a seat at your table came to eat with you. Some came to flip the table over. Some came with envy, manipulation, disrespect, and a plan that has nothing to do with growth. So tonight, I'm not here to tell you how to say yes. I'm here to show you the power of saying no. The entitled are a unique breed. These are the people who walk into your life with their hands out and their heads held high, not in confidence, but in expectation. They don't ask, they assume. They don't appreciate, they demand. When you help them, they don't say thank you. They act like you were supposed to, like you owed them something. And the worst part, if you ever stop helping, suddenly you're the bad guy. You're selfish, fake, or unreliable. Not because you did something wrong, but because you stopped feeding the illusion that you were their personal support system. You see, entitlement is dangerous because it blinds a person to reality. They begin to believe that effort is optional, that reward should come without work, and that relationships are one-sided, always giving, never giving back. And when you're the one constantly offering support, it feels less like helping and more like being used. It drains your energy, your time, your patience. It turns generosity into resentment. That's the trap. You start with good intentions, but over time, you realize you're not lifting someone up. You're being leaned on without any respect. What makes it worse is that the entitled often disguise their expectations in emotional manipulation. They'll make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They'll remind you of all the times they needed you, conveniently forgetting every moment they dismissed your effort or ignored your advice. They live in a mindset where help is never a privilege, it's a given. And no matter how much you do, it's never enough. Helping someone who's entitled doesn't teach them gratitude, it teaches them dependency. It confirms the idea that they can continue walking through life without accountability, without growth, and without consequences. And when life finally demands something of them, when no one's there to bail them out, they don't adapt, they blame, they lash out, they collapse under pressure because they were never taught to carry their own weight. You don't do anyone a favor by feeding their entitlement. You do them a disservice. Because true help inspires responsibility, not reliance. It empowers, it uplifts, it transforms. But with the entitled, all it does is enable. And if you're not careful, you become a permanent fixture in someone else's fantasy where you exist only to serve. The repetitive drainers are those people who live in a loop of self-destruction, yet somehow they always find their way back to your door, asking for the same help with the same problems you already helped them with last time and the time before that. It's not that they're incapable of learning or growing, it's that they choose not to. They don't reflect, they don't apply advice, and they don't evolve. They just recycle their chaos. It's like helping someone clean up a mess they refuse to stop making. Eventually, you realize you're not making a difference, you're just managing their damage. These people have a pattern, and that pattern becomes a cycle that drains not just their own energy, but yours too. You give your time, you give your wisdom, maybe even your money or resources, thinking that this time it will be different. You believe in potential, you believe in change, but they don't want change. They want relief, temporary relief, a quick fix, a reset button. Not the work, not the responsibility, just someone to come fix what they broke again and again. At first, you feel compassionate. You want to be supportive. You think they're struggling. Maybe they just need more love, more direction. But over time, you start to feel stuck, like you're an unpaid life coach to someone who doesn't even take notes. They'll cry to you, promise they'll do better, nod as you speak truth into them, and then turn around and make the exact same decision that got them into the mess in the first place. There's no growth, no lessons learned, just a rinse and repeat of dysfunction. The truth is, some people aren't looking for help. They're looking for a cleanup crew. They don't want to face themselves, so they use others as buffers between them and their consequences. They use your energy to delay their growth, and you, with your good heart, become a crutch they lean on instead of a mirror they need to face. The danger of helping repetitive drainers is that your help starts to hurt. Not just you, but them too, because as long as you keep rescuing them, they'll never feel the urgency to rescue themselves. They'll never be forced to pause, to reflect, to actually change. The unwilling are a category of people who seem like they want change, but in reality, they just want results without the effort. They talk about how tired they are of their situation, how badly they want a breakthrough, how much they need a new direction, but when it comes time to act, they disappear. They nod in agreement when you speak wisdom, but they never apply it. They ask for guidance, but never take the steps. They want the reward, not the road. And when life doesn't change for them, they blame the world, their past, this system, or even you. Anyone but themselves. There's a kind of passiveness in their struggle. It's not that they're trapped. It's that they've accepted being stuck. They wear their pain like a badge but refuse to do the uncomfortable work required to heal. They'll tell you they're ready, that they've had enough, but when opportunity knocks, they won't open the door. They'll come to you asking for help, expecting you to hand them solutions, but they won't put in the hours, the discipline, the consistency that change demands. They confuse inspiration with transformation. They think motivation is enough, but they lack commitment. Helping someone like this becomes frustrating because no matter how much you give, it goes nowhere. It feels like pouring water into a cup with a hole in the bottom. You offer tools and they leave them rusting in the corner. You offer time and they waste it with excuses. You offer encouragement and they still shrink back into the comfort of complaining. Eventually you realize they're not looking for a way out. They're looking for someone to carry them, not for a season, but forever. And here's the hardest part, they can be incredibly convincing. Their pain seems genuine, their desire sounds sincere, but time will show you the truth. You'll watch them repeat the same patterns, avoid the same responsibilities, and resist the very steps they said they were ready to take. It's not because they can't do it, it's because deep down, they don't want to do what it takes. Change requires discomfort, discipline, and self-confidence. The unwilling would rather stay in their story than write a new one. They want progress without sacrifice, freedom without fight, and success without the sweat. The manipulators are some of the most dangerous people to help because they rarely come to you with truth. They wear masks, ones that fit their story, their timing, their need. They know how to tug on your heartstrings, how to speak in ways that trigger your empathy, and how to craft a version of reality that makes you feel like you have to step in. They don't ask for help in the open. They wrap it in flattery, in guilt, in subtle pressure. They may even make it seem like helping them is your responsibility, as if you owe them something when in fact, you don't. They play the victim well. They know how to twist the narrative, leaving out the parts where they caused the damage or made the poor decision. You only hear the version where they're misunderstood, unsupported, or caught in a situation that just happened to them. But if you dig deeper, there's a pattern, a history of using others, of taking advantage, of always finding a way to make someone else fix what they won't face. What's tricky is that manipulators don't always look toxic at first. They can be charming. They can be soft-spoken. They can even seem deeply spiritual or humble. But behind that surface is an agenda, and if you're not paying attention, you become a pawn in their strategy. They know your strengths. If you're generous, they'll lean into your giving nature. If you're loyal, they'll guilt you into staying involved. If you're empathetic, they'll flood you with just enough pain to keep you from walking away. And when you finally start to pull back, you'll see their true colors. They'll turn cold or bitter, or suddenly become the victim again, this time because you abandoned them. Helping someone like this isn't just exhausting, it's dangerous to your peace. Because they don't just drain your resources, they confuse your instincts. You start questioning yourself, doubting your boundaries, wondering if maybe you're the problem, but you're not. You're just being played by someone who knows how to pull the right strings. Manipulators don't want help to grow. They want help to maintain control. And they'll twist your kindness into a leash if you let them. They aren't searching for healing, they're looking for access. Access to your time, your energy, your emotions, not to change, but to continue exactly as they are. The envious are a silent threat, because on the surface, they may smile, they may thank you, they may even act like they're happy for you, but underneath, there's a quiet resentment, a bitterness that grows every time they receive your help. These are the people who will take what you give, but never truly celebrate where it came from. They'll accept your support while secretly disliking your success. They'll nod while you speak, but inside, they're comparing, competing, and quietly hoping to see you fall, just to feel a little taller. Helping someone who envies you is like feeding a fire you don't know is burning. No matter how kind, generous, or selfless you are, it's not enough to soften their spirit, because the issue isn't what you're giving, it's who you are while giving it. They don't just want the help, they want the position you're in. They want your confidence, your light, your progress, and instead of being inspired by it, they grow bitter, as if your shine makes their own dimmer. These individuals rarely show their envy outright. Instead, it slips out in little ways. Backhanded compliments, subtle shade, passive-aggressive comments when you succeed. They may take your help today, but they'll question your motives tomorrow. They'll start rumors, gossip in corners, or try to downplay your accomplishments while still showing up with their hands open when they need something. The danger in helping envious people is that you're inviting someone closer who doesn't have your best interest at heart. You're opening a door to someone who would never do the same for you. You invest your time, your resources, your love, thinking you're building trust, but what you're really doing is giving access to someone who quietly resents your very existence. It's like watering a tree that's already decided it doesn't want to bear fruit for you. And the truth is, no amount of kindness can cure jealousy rooted in insecurity. It's not your job to make someone else feel whole by shrinking yourself or pretending you're not doing well. Helping them won't earn you loyalty. It might just earn you a front row seat to your own sabotage. Because envy, when fed, doesn't turn into gratitude, it turns into entitlement and eventually betrayal. The disrespectful are some of the hardest people to walk away from because often they're close to you. Family, old friends, longtime co-workers. They know you and you know them, but that familiarity breeds comfort. And sometimes that comfort turns into contempt. These are the people who think they can speak to you however they want, treat you however they please, and still expect you to be there when they need something. They don't see your value, they see your usefulness. They won't clap for you when you win, but they'll show up when they need a favor, and the moment you say no, their true colors show. They'll disrespect your time, your boundaries, your energy, and then act surprised when you start to pull away. They'll joke at your expense, dismiss your dreams, ignore your needs, but expect you to be available at the drop of a hat. Helping someone like that isn't generosity, it's self-betrayal. You're not supporting them, you're silencing your own worth to keep peace that isn't even real. These people operate with a twisted sense of entitlement. They think just because they've known you the longest, they deserve the most. They think your history together gives them a pass to cross lines and still get access to your kindness. But there's a difference between being familiar and being respectful. Just because someone's been around for a long time doesn't mean they've earned the right to stay. The disrespectful rarely recognize what they have until it's gone. They don't appreciate help, they expect it. And they won't hesitate to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, as if their poor behavior should be overlooked because of who they are to you. They don't take accountability, instead they flip the narrative. Suddenly, you're too sensitive, too distant, or acting different, when in reality you're just done being treated like an option. What makes it worse is that they'll often seek your help in moments of desperation, and because you have a good heart, you'll be tempted to show up again. But helping someone who refuses to respect you doesn't change them. It only teaches them that you'll tolerate less than you deserve. They don't grow from that kind of help. They get comfortable. They learn that disrespect has no consequence. And they continue the cycle, knowing you'll always be there no matter how they act. So here's what I want you to take with you. You are not here to rescue everybody. You are not a lifeboat for people who keep jumping into storms they created. You are not a backup plan for those who never plan to grow. Your help, your heart, your energy, it's a gift. Stop handing it to people who treat it like spare change. There is strength in compassion, yes, but there's also power in discernment. Because some people don't want to change, they want company. Some don't want help, they want control. And some don't want your love, they want your labor, without ever lifting a hand for you in return. If helping someone means hurting yourself, if supporting them means silencing your own peace, if giving them another chance means betraying your own growth, then that's not help. That's sacrifice dressed up as kindness. You don't have to be cold. You don't have to be cruel. But you do have to be clear. Not everyone gets access to you. Protect your light, guard your spirit, and remember, saying no doesn't make you heartless, it makes you wise. Thank you.